Alright, welcome back to the Supercoach Nuff channel. In this video, we're going to preview round 21 of the 2025 NRL Fantasy season. So before we talk about my team specifically, we'll have a look at the trends across the competition with the who's hot and who's not list. And so the top three on the list, Isaiah Yeo, Payne Haas, Nathan Cleary, all coming back from a bit of a break last week for different reasons. I held them all, so I can definitely recommend bringing them in. I think, if you're down to one, well, actually, everyone should have at least 4 trades left. But I guess if you are tossing up one trade between the two big guns there, Isaiah Yeo, Payne Haas, I would tend to lean towards Payne Haas. He probably just has a little bit more threat in terms of tackle busts, offloads. Isaiah Yeo does have that, but I guess when he does run the ball into the line, it is usually more to take the tackle, play the ball, and obviously he distributes a bit as well. So I'd probably have them in the opposite order. I just imagine maybe more people were already holding Payne Haas, maybe didn't have Isaiah Yeo because of Origin and that, so have brought him in now. Nathan Cleary at number 3 as well. Yep, absolutely bring him in. Number 1, sort of half option more often than not. So makes sense. Number 4, Dylan Edwards. I'm not sure on the price point. I think if he's at 700, no, so he's 614. It's a pretty fair price. Obviously, the -6 break even's pretty juicy too. Get a bit of cash. But if you're bringing him in, you're probably holding him for the season. Taylor May is an interesting one. So I guess if you are looking for a centre at that price, he does has runs on the board in terms of being able to produce in these sorts of games. Maybe more super coach where there's a bit more for his attacking upside. But what is he at? 507. I mean, I'm probably looking to go up or down from that price point for a genuine keeper or a genuine cheapie that will be playing. Hudson Young, I think, is an edge keeper, so you can bring him in. Tom Trbojevic now with the dual position, which is nice. I think he'd be a bit cheaper than Taylor May. About the same price, so 515k. I mean, if I had to pick one, I'd be picking Tommy Turbo because we do know that elite upside is there. If he does potentially end up at fullback at some stage, but even in the centres, he floats around and creates opportunities for himself. Joash Papali'i, probably the cheapie of the week with moving to fullback thanks to the Iongi injury. He played a fair bit of fullback at the Bulldogs in previous years in reserve grade and the junior reps, and I think that's his number 1 position. So if he can get a bit of a crack at it, he could be a very handy cash down at this point of the season. Jaden Campbell, I've rated him all year. Struggling to find a way to get him back into the team, just with the amount of trades left, trying to be a bit more prudent and holding a couple in reserve, but would love to have him back in the team now that he's playing. Blake Brayley, it's been going really great at hooker. What's his price at? 745. So not cheap, but have a bit of a look at the run there. Take the 44 out, and you've got some monster performances from him of late. So definitely an interesting point of difference. Only 9% owned. So I'm actually pretty keen for that sort of pick at 745. Lachlan Galvin, so looked pretty good in the 7 jersey. Probably his to lose from here. So if you are looking for a mid-price sort of half option, you do pay a little bit. But I guess if I'd back him over Olatu Finu, for example, who I currently have in the team. Again, it's probably only lack of trades that's preventing me from pulling the trigger there. Jacob Kiraz, I think keeper at centre wing center or wing fullback. So you could bring him in. Same thing with Zach Lomax. Has dual position, which is super handy. Could bring him in. Eli Katoa is a keeper on the edge, so he can come in. And Tanner Boyd. So, it's looked pretty good in that sort of just plug and play role of Luke Metcalf. Has a bit of value in the price based on current average of 52 and a half. I mean, I'd probably look at Galvin just because he's a bit cheaper, but Boyd probably has a slightly bigger base with the goal kicking. Um, yeah, that's an interesting one, actually. I think both are okay, but I would go Galvin over Boyd myself. On the who's not list, number one, Kalamatangi. Yep, out for the season. Absolutely makes sense. He's been awesome for us, but got to let him go. Tino, I guess if you're bringing in one of their big hitters, I can get on board with that. But he may come back for the last bit of the season, so if you're able to hold, he might give you a bit more value. Iongi, I think he's done for most of the year. You could definitely take his value. He's got to be 500 something, surely. 516. I mean, you make 1K going from him to Tommy Turbo. I like that move. Hugo Savala, so might be available as of next week, but not in the fantasy friendly role of the dominant half or dominant kicking half. So I think you can chop him. Pappenhausen, I understand the frustration. You can chop him. Latrell, I think he's done pretty much for the season, so you chop him. Tallis Duncan, unfortunately, having to play centre with the injury carnage at South. So um, I guess if you've got four bigger things to fix first, you could, but yeah, I think he's one you do trade out and cash in on the value that he's made us. Dylan Lucas, I think he's done for the year, so you can chop him. Latu Finu, so I guess the issue with this is Finu is still playing. These guys, all injured, so it's reasonable. But I mean, unless you're going right up to a Cleary or a Hines would be a massive target this week. I was going to say Yongi, but sorry, Isaiah Katoa. I can get around that. I don't know if I'd be doing the sideways sort of move to Galvin or Boyd. I think it feels like a waste of a trade. But I'm imagining that's what some people may be thinking. King Togia, well, so this is going to be a bit contradictory, but I think I would get rid of him. Just don't know if there's the upside there of like the Galvin or the Boyd type picks. I don't know, something about Finey where I think there is, it's close enough that it's not worth the trade. Britton Nikora, so I think he's injured for a while, so he can go. Kautoga, I'm pretty sure he's injured. Humphreys, I did see Lewis Dodd was named at 7, so not sure what happened with Humphreys. If it's like just a concussion, then I think he's a hold, but other than that, he can go. Nwani Tawase, I think this is an overreaction. It was one bad game. Just relax. He'll be fine. Definite hold. And Val Holmes injured, so he is a sell. Yeah, I'll try and find out what happened with Humphries because I really haven't really looked at him to be honest. So, in terms of my team this week, as I said, I held the big guns, so this will make life a little bit easier. Bringing them all in, and Kurt Donahue need to replace Herbie. So we've got Adam Dewey can come straight in. And I swap Joshy Curran up there. So as things stand, the team would look something like this. But with Klamatungi out for the season, you know, these four trades are for injuries. This is an injury. So we can move on from him. So the question is, who do we go? So previously, uh, in the round review video, I was going for a like for like replacement with Nafahu White. But there is a couple of other interesting options. I haven't looked at the prices, so I might be sort of priced out. But one of them is Blake Brayley. With that form, and I can always use Clark as another mid cover. I've got enough edge cover, I think, with Young, Preston, Angus Crichton, and Curran at a pinch can do a job. So I'm not too concerned about edge cover. So yeah, Brayley is on the list, but I've just noticed he's a little bit, a bit too pricey. The other option that's a little bit, well, don't know if spicy is the right word, but creates maybe a little bit of a shortage in the middle is looking at a Nico Hines. So I guess the thing with Nico Hines is I can use Clark to cover in the middle alongside as well Watson, Curran if I need to. Kurt Donahue can obviously slide into hooker to cover if I need to use a Watson or a Clark and a Clark. So I think I've actually got a lot of middle coverage. So I do like the matchup this week for Nico. Um, I'll just see if I can bring his profile up because I haven't looked too deeply into the draw. But that's the match stats. I need the fixtures. So yeah, so he's got the Rabbitohs, which is an awesome matchup at the moment. The Cowboys at home is handy. The Dragons and the Titans and the Knights. Obviously, the round 25 bye is the only downside, and then a tough round 27. But I think 5 decent fixtures out of 7 is good enough for me. So if I go back to my team and go back to the trades. So yeah, so Koloamatangi out, in is Nico Hines. So let's lock that one in. And so we can now push Nico on field, and Jerome Hughes can slide on up. So yeah, so it's probably just as strong as what it was before. Klamatangi was a keeper. We've brought in a keeper, but it does free up a little bit of bank. So at Josh Curran would be the one we'd be looking to upgrade. And so at, what are we at? 595, 600, 595. So from CNK down, so we could get Jaden Campbell, but we've already brought in one half. We're well served at half. So I guess it'd be like, we're starting to talk about, well, if we want to bring in Campbell, do we upgrade Finu, which then means Curran's a downgrade? And, I think we're starting to start burning through too many trades. So looking at this, there's no one that really jumps out as being, much greater value. And obviously, Curran does offer a bit of cover in the forwards, which is where we may need it moving forward. So I think we'll just run with Curran. He does usually go pretty good coming off the bench, so that's not the biggest concern. But I think we run with this team. I suppose because Curran plays really late, could we look at looping potentially? So we might be able to. So if we push Donahue up, can have a bit of a look at Fino, albeit against the Panthers. I'm not hopeful. I don't think it's going to be worth it, but just in case, we'll have Fino there. We'll loop Curran in on Sunday if it doesn't work out on Saturday Arvo. But yeah, these guys are all playing in the first game, so I might just, in case we do need to do some more trading late, put Presto on the bench. But yeah, I guess then just the conversation around captains. So it's an interesting one because we're in a pretty good position, but I mean, this is the time where you want to try and find that little edge to, most people have all the guns. Most people are, it's not to say everyone's got the same team as me, but I imagine like a lot of these guys on screen currently are in a lot of teams. So what I'm thinking is we go the bold move, captaining Nico Hines against a depleted South Sydney team. And the VC, if that doesn't sort of work out, I think we can just stick with the safer sort of Terrell May option. But yeah, I think, May's always a decent option. Haas. I like Cleary against the Tigers as a captaincy option. But if I'm bringing him in, I'm backing him in, and it could go good. It might not work out, but there's always fantasy Premier League to fall back on if this goes sideways. But we'll wrap the video up there. Get the team on the screen there. As always, if you've got any questions, comments, thoughts, feel free to add them below this video. Give us a like if you enjoy the NRL Fantasy content. Subscribe for all the fantasy sports content on the channel. And other than that, we'll catch you in the next one.